Have you ever experienced the very nature and character of the world shifting with a certain melody? Have you ever, under the spell of a haunting song, felt primordial existence resonate with ecstasy rather than horror? Have you ever seen your inner world pouring out before you in the quiet of a verse? This is the power of activity which does not let itself fall prey to conscious explanations. An activity that, for all the attempts to produce a standardized theory, remains so subjective that it still dares to speak with the voice of the unconscious. What richness is robbed and stolen away when words are attached to a song, when the artist decides in advance what ought to be felt? It is no surprise that certain innovative and eclectic musicians feel burdened by the demands for their vocals to conform to words. They have produced a fine tapestry, spindled out of the very depths of their unconscious, a motley of semiotics expressing contradictions as a unity. But then they are forced to resurface, to become superficial once more. Language by its nature aims to clarify and universalize everything into mutually comprehensible terms. Whatever cannot be expressed or only complicates communication is stripped away. Thought shapes language, and subsequently language shapes thought, yet the return is always given at a loss. Some element of experience is compressed. Under the influence of the most abased concepts, sadness and happiness, we lose a part of ourselves. A song which strives for greatness and the heights of expression should, in the majority of cases, shore itself up against this leveling power, either using language carefully or not at all. Otherwise, the lyricist clumsily spills ink on the page and becomes merely another case study for the Jungians. On a related note, the demand for lyrics to be intelligible in the first place contains some very critical implications. Immediately, it disqualifies any song which is sung in an unknown language, which seems to imply that the musical elements themselves are no longer in question. More profoundly, it portrays particular value judgments, that music ought to be strictly communal, pedagogical, or accessible, or that it be a mere ornament and garb placed upon the primacy of language, which is a value most disagreeable to my ears. But why is this? Already with the daily use of language and habituated concepts, we have a tendency to believe that we can reach into the unconscious and impose our will upon it. If certain patterns of the psyche, certain recurring emotions, can be recognized, certain predictions about causality should theoretically be possible too. Unfortunately, such patterns only exist at a very limited resolution, and so much of a person is lost in this picture. Language, highly pragmatic and reified by so many philosophers, nonetheless moves us into a mode of affirming simplicity, even where it is wholly inappropriate. What if one were instead able to embrace contradiction and chaos and multiplicity, to organize that internal hierarchy by means of ritual? This is what is lost when the rationality of philosophers, hailing from Socrates, began to privilege rationality and constraints over the instinctual and spontaneous movements governed by unconscious motives. Music which once again embraces feelings and intuitions, navigating them using the semiotic language of music, can reignite such energies in a ritual space. The musical medium opens itself up to profound expression. Both discord and harmony can be freely poured out, like libations, without inviting censorship in most cases. Where thought is constrained by partisan issues, music remains open, a place to give life to what is repressed. If this video in any way resonated with you, or invited you to experience music in a new way, please leave a like, and if you have any specific thoughts, or even disagreements, I'd love to hear those in the comments.